So at the end of the chapter 3, there are some appendix here. So of course, appendix do not form the meter material.
Okay.
They are just to understand a little bit broadly basic principles of biomedical research related to the questions of ethics regarding animals and patients.
Okay.
So there are, for example, Oviedo Convention of Council of Europe, just to show you, to demonstrate how these questions regarding ethics are formulated theoretically. Okay.
Mm.
So now we
Okay, sir.
start. Okay. So good luck. Now we shall speak about chapter 5. It's information literacy, literature search, and personal reference databases. What we have to do? We already have made emphasis that research forms very main part of biomedical sciences, because biomedical sciences are evidence-based sciences. They are based on evidences, and this evidence-based quality makes them trustable. It means you can trust everything, any article, any research, any clinical trial, which is result of an evidence-based research. But this research does not occur in an isolated form. There are different forms of different possibilities of conducting surveys, of providing laboratory experiments. For example, you may conduct your survey on the university basis, I mean at hospital, clinical department, laboratory, university laboratory. Your research may also be done in collaboration. Collaboration means that research group to which you belong is working together with another research group or representative of another research group. And this collaboration may be inter-university collaboration. For example, when our Faculty of Medicine works with Faculty of Education, or Faculty of Medicine works with Faculty of Psychology, and collaboration may be between universities inside the same country. For example, NVU with another university inside Georgia, and collaboration may also be between countries and between universities. This means collaboration, for example, between NVU and one of the European universities, or one of the American universities, or universities located in New Zealand, Australia, UK, or different possibilities. Why collaboration is helpful? Because on the same topic, people are investigating in different countries from different point of view. For example, when we are studying education as instrument, social instrument, and social phenomena. Someone is studying education from pediatric point of view. For example, how traumatic is education for children at schools, because it's stress. When you are 6 years old and you have to go to school, and this radically changes your day schedule. So you need to be more coordinated, more attentive, to be less mobile. So you are sitting on the desk and you are listening to the lessons. So this is stressful, especially during first 3 or 4 years, from 6 till 10, because this is something new. So pediatricians may study from this education as phenomena from the point of view how stressful it is for children. Psychologists may study the same phenomena, how to elaborate better psychological approaches to reduce the stress. So you see, both groups are studying the phenomena of stress, but from different point of views. Another group of people, group of researchers may study education related with vaccination or different angles of points of view. What I want to say is that research is not an isolated phenomenon, and collaboration is one of the main instruments to find yourself I mean researcher, to find yourself in the very center of the topic which is under evaluation. That's why collaboration, especially international collaboration, is very helpful because we have possibility to exchange ideas. We have possibility to cultivate new ideas. We also have possibility to prepare joint publications. What does it mean, joint publications? Joint publications, which are very important and very central tool of written scientific communication in biomedical sciences, because in humanities, there may one researcher may write 50 articles and may be the single author of all of them. During the last 10 years, what I am observing personally, I see that even in humanities, researchers started to publish joint publications because it's very helpful. It's very helpful. For example, now I'm working on an article with one of my colleagues from Spain. So he is evaluating another part of the same topic, and I'm evaluating another, and we are hoping to publish joint publication. So it's more productive, what I want to say, because knowledge today is very dissociated, and knowledge today, even in the framework of the same subject, of the same thematic, the knowledge is very fragmented, and there is no single individual which can encompass all new data in the field, in any field. So that's why we say that collaboration is very important. Besides, in different countries, there are different traditions of conducting research. There are different schools, especially in case of social sciences, of humanities, of politics. We have different schools which are doing their research using different methodologies. And the combination of different approaches will be very productive. Will be very productive in order to reconstruct the universe, the world around us, because as you already know, and as you can imagine yourself, one of the main ideas of research is to understand how our organisms are created and how they work, how our organism is realizing its functions in different realities. Different realities, I mean different contexts. What should we consider when we say that this patient is practically healthy, and what we suppose, how will his health condition, his or her health condition will be changed if the conditions around him or her will be changed, because organisms' response to the same changes may differ, and it's normal, because I have my possibilities, my physiological and biochemical possibilities of responding, and you have your possibilities to respond. I have my spectrum of functions, my mode of action, my my response is based on my reception. I am responding based on how I accept the reality which surrounds me. And research helps us to find out main possible variants of possible response. Okay, so that's why we say that it's impossible to understand the phenomena of learning, of cognitive possibilities of children, of students, or other people from very narrow perspective. For example, how to study from psychological perspective, or how to study only from um, foreign language acquisition possibilities, or different. What I want to say, we should not dissolve, we should not fragment the instruments which we use for research. In contrast, we have to unite them. We have to collect all possibilities and to create new possibilities, to compose the research design which will be applicable to our interests, study interests, and that's why different designs and different research methodologies, being qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methodologies, they help us to see the whole picture, more or less. I repeat, more or less whole picture, because nothing has changed in the curiosity of man, starting from ancient Greece or ancient Egypt or ancient India, where first philosophical thought originates, and coming in the 21st century, we have the same questions: how our world is organized and how our organism, as a very small part of our cosmos, of our world, is organized. Because it's possible that our organism repeats the rules of organization which is acting in the organization of nature, in the organization of life, both wildlife, artificial understanding of the life. You know that this century of robot techniques, of different technical achievements and improvements. And we have already mentioned, I hope you remember this, that in biomedical sciences we have two possibilities of success. Either we are doing a discovery with our research, or we are doing an improvement. Okay, so, and we can say that somehow, in some degree, the rapid development of technical issues, of technical understandings of how the life is composed and how we survive, and artificial intellect, and all these questions related to robots and usage of artificial intellect, all these questions may be very well remodeled in our understanding of creation of nature. So that's why we say that international collaboration is very helpful, because we are not only bringing different research methods during international collaboration, we are also using different possibilities of discussion. Because one thing is to receive research data, another thing is to discuss it, to analyze it, to form recommendations based on our conclusions, to generalize the discussion and to form recommendations. So, information literacy means some concrete points. For example, when I recognize a need for information, what I want to say, we have spoken several times about library research. I recognize that on the concrete topic, I need new information, and I'm looking for ways, different ways, and one of the way is creating a network of collaborators. If you remember, we have spoken about coordinated volume. What is coordinated volume? Coordinated volume is a volume which is edited by one researcher or several researchers, which are constructing research network. They invite different researchers and they are composing a volume on concrete topic. And one researcher or two researchers are working on one aspect of the same topic. Another researcher is working on different aspect of the same topic. So the main idea of coordinated volume is to observe the phenomena from different points of view. And we are doing this because we recognize the necessity of new information, because we understand and we are absolutely sure that there is a need for information which is new for us personally, and for information which is usable to conduct future studies. Another point of information literacy is identify and locate relevant sources of information. What does it mean, relevant sources? Sources which are helpful and which are practicably used and applicable for my research ideas. Relevant information means information which is updated. Relevant information means information which is usable and necessary for me today to continue my research. These may be scientific articles, newly edited monographs or chapters of monographs. This may be organizing an international conference or meeting or roundtable. At the end, this may be visits at different laboratories and universities when we are contacting our colleagues and exchanging some ideas, listening to them and introducing our research ideas. Information literacy is also knowledge how to access sources. First of all, we have to determine, to define, to detect which are sources that we need to find. Then how to access them. You know that in 21st century, and mainly starting from the second half of the 20th century, we have different possibilities of rapid access to new information. I mean, most of articles are in open access format. What does it mean, open access format? Open access format means that journals are introducing their papers, their published articles in an open format. They just hang it on their web and you can easily download them. Or you may need, not you personally, but your institution may need to pay for permission, 1 year permission, and during the year you will be able to download any article you want to read. So how to access sources, how to use databases which are indexing different journals which publish on the topic in which you are interested. This is one of the main forms of information literacy. Another is evaluate the quality of information, because not all information is trustable. You cannot use any sort of publication. For example, when students are writing their research paper, when students are preparing their MA thesis or PhD dissertation, they know that there are some sources they cannot use, otherwise their work will be evaluated negatively. Which are the sources? All sources, all articles, all papers which are published in non-peer review magazines and journals, they are not advised to be used, because peer review means, I hope you remember, peer review means that this paper, before publishing, was critically evaluated by experts of the field, as a minimum 2 experts. In case if one expert writes negative recommendation for the paper and another expert writes positive recommendation for the editor of the journal, in most cases, editor sends for evaluation the paper to the third evaluator. And if paper receives 2 positives and 1 negative, it will be published. If paper receives 2 negative and 1 positive, it will be rejected. From my own experience, I can tell you that I had one very sad experience when I sent my article some 6 or 7 years ago. I sent it to one of the American journals, which was a very nice journal in philosophy. So they had, according to their rules of peer review, they had 6 experts in the field, which were at the same time evaluating the paper. 6 experts. And the journal listed on its web the rule how they are evaluating. And it was stated on the web that to accept the paper for publication, author needs to receive 6 positive evaluations. And I received only 5. And unfortunately, my paper was rejected. So you see, you are working a lot, you are suffering from insomnia, you receive 5 positive evaluations and only 1 negative, and your paper is rejected. But this is not a general rule, because mostly papers are evaluated by 2 or as a maximum 3 readers, 3 evaluators, 3 reviewers. But sometimes it happens. You know, most of American journals are in the top 10% in all rankings of journals. It's very difficult to publish there. And even if you receive the negative review, it's also not very nice, but nice, because in negative review, reviewer is indicating the weak parts of your article. You are using this to elaborate your article. And if the same journal will refuse to reconsider it once more for publication, you can send it to another journal, because there are thousands and thousands of journals which publish in different fields. And you know that contemporary science is multidisciplinary science. So what does it mean regarding journals? It means that there are journals which publish articles both in biomedical and social sciences. For example, in psychiatry and psychology, in behavior sciences, and in pediatrics. So it means what matters is how you are presenting and which research methodology you use for illuminating the ideas which you are cultivating. So what I want to say is that not all articles are trustable. Students know that if they need to prepare presentations, PPTs for midterms, for example, they cannot use Wikipedia as a source, because Wikipedia is composed by any reader. You do not need to be expert of the field to create an article in Wikipedia. Okay? So it means that if you are not expert of the field, how can I trust to what you have uploaded to Wikipedia? This is the idea. So there are some pages which are not recommended for students to use when they are preparing their written work. It may be, I repeat, MA thesis or some essay or PhD dissertation. Okay, so when we speak in the framework of information literacy about evaluate the quality of information. That's what we mean, that we should use only peer-reviewed texts, being articles or materials or monographs, even monographs, even monographs are peer-reviewed. Monographs are sent to reviewers, and from 3 to 6 months or maybe 1 year, author is waiting for the feedback from reviewers, and not only author but also the editorial. And if the evaluation is positive, the monograph will be published, otherwise it will be rejected. And there is a special list of ranking of editorials. Now I'm speaking about academic editorials, editorials which are publishing in academic field. For example, in medicine, in philosophy, in rhetorics, in psychology. There is ranking of editorials. And author who has prepared his or her manuscript for publishing just is looking in the list of ranking of editorials and is selecting the concrete editorial where to send the manuscript for evaluation. That's why you have to have some ideas about rankings, about databases, which databases are more prestigious, which are less, about how to access to information which will be helpful for your research, about how to evaluate the quality which you have used, which you have found, etc., etc. The next step in information literacy is organizing information. What does it mean, organizing information? Now imagine that you have introduced in the search window some keywords which you are thinking about, and using these keywords, PubMed gives you some 100 articles, okay, which contains these keywords. What are keywords? Keywords are the words which are more frequently repeated in the text because they express the main content of the text. For example, if we are looking for new data on epilepsy or on treatment of epilepsy, we are introducing keywords epilepsy and treatment, okay? Or we are naming the concrete medication which is used in epilepsy treatment. So if you want to find what you are looking for, because there is an ocean of information in databases and you have to somehow to narrow the search, okay? Otherwise you will receive some 30,000 articles and you can never read them. You have to carefully select the keywords, and once you have carefully selected them, you introduce them in the search window and you receive the narrowed result of your search. And then you have to organize what you have found out. What does it mean to organize? To group, to sort, okay? For example, I have downloaded 100 articles on the topic. And then now I have somehow to sort them, put them on the shelves. First of all, I say that for introductory part of my article, I will use these 15 sources. For materials and methods, I will use another 20. So you see, I'm grouping, I'm sorting, I'm giving them concrete location on my shelf and in my mind. In other words, I'm organizing the information which I have collected. And another step in information literacy is to use information efficiently. What does it mean to use information efficiently? It means to get maximum information for composition of research design, for using research methodology, for the formulation of conclusions and recommendations. You know, when a researcher starts reading a big amount of information, because especially in biomedical sciences, information is very detailed, of the fragmented nature. It is dissolved in the ocean of articles and publications. What you have to do is to extract what you want to use. From the whole article, you may need to highlight some couple of pages. And you know that the extension of articles may vary, may be very different. For example, in case of review articles, I have read review articles which were of which had extension of 80 pages, and I have read review articles of 2 pages. What does it mean? It means that based on the topic you are reviewing and based on the concrete accents you are interested in, your review article may have different extension, different lengths, different number of pages. That's why we say that it's very complicated to write universal laws and rules that review article should have lengths of 25 pages or original article should have lengths of 15 pages or case studies should be of 3 pages. It's impossible to define and to determine this. Scientific journals, mostly, they are presenting a range of characters. For example, on the web page of the journal, it's clearly stated that we accept manuscripts which has from 8,000 to 10,000 characters with intervals. Okay, so they give you the range of the lengths of the paper. So how much they do not determine the number of pages. They give you the range to give you possibility to be flexible, to select the format which will better express your ideas. You know, when we are estimating the paper, for example, now imagine that you are a reviewer of a journal and the editor sent you the journal for evaluation. What are you doing? Your first and very main focus is on style. Before you enter in the depths of the content of the journal, you focus your attention on the style, on format, on rules of formatting the paper. So you see that what is the proportion of introduction in the basic part. Maybe introduction is 10 pages and the main part of the research article is 2 pages. So it's impossible, right? The article should be balanced, more or less. And the same parts should be united, included, for more or less, of course. One part may be of 3 pages, another of 4, the third part 5, but not 3, 20, and 40. Okay, it should be balanced somehow. Your reviewer also sees how the rules of formatting are followed, because All journals, they have their rules of formatting. And if you do not follow the rules, reviewer may think that either you can't follow them or you don't consider it necessary, and no reviewer will format article for you. So you see, how to use the information efficiently means how to present your paper efficiently. Your paper is a final form of report of your ideas. You have conducted a survey, you have performed an investigation and laboratory experiment, and why are you doing this? In order to present your research data. And everything must be lost or your work may disappear if you do not correctly present the style, if you will not follow the norms of formatting. What I want to say is that in academic writing, one of the main things which matters is the correct presentation. In poetry, you may use different modes of expression. Your text may follow the classical rules of poetic composition. Either you can choose the different modes of self-expression. For example, during Romanticism, they used some fragmentary method of fragmentary expression of their ideas. But in scientific paper, and what distinguishes scientific paper from other sorts of paper, one of the main component, one of the main rules of presenting and successful presenting of your scientific paper is that you are following the norms of academic writing. That's why at all universities worldwide, we have the course of academic writing, of academic self-expression. Of course, not all students will be converted into scientists, and not all students will publish scientific works, but they need to possess these skills for academic self-expression. And at the same time, they need to possess the skills in order to understand when they are reading papers, because medical profession is profession which is continuously updated, and they need to read permanently new sources. That's why we say that scientific information should be based on concrete instruments of presentation. So, just to summarize, what we understand as main components of information literacy. To recognize, very starting and very first point is to recognize a need for information. When I find out that I definitely need new sources. Second, identify and locate relevant sources of information. Which sources are relevant for my concrete research and where can I find them? It means identify and locate. Third, know how to access sources. That there are different possibilities of access, that there are different ways of storing information, for example, databases, libraries, etc., etc. Please remember here that even in biomedical sciences, we should not trust only to electronic sources. Okay, libraries are very important, and without libraries, there is no research and no university. Okay. First is evaluate the quality of information. What we have find out now, we are checking how trustable it is. Can we trust it? What does it mean trust? Can we use it or not? Organize information. Organize means sorting, okay, grouping, and use information efficiently. It means to do maximum with the sources, to do maximum, to extract maximum. This means use them efficiently. Now, to continue with different searching possibilities, we can search by content or by methodology. Now look, when I brought an example about treatment of epilepsy, this is search by content because we know what we are looking for. We want to find articles which describe new approaches how to treat epilepsy. This is content. But by methodology, how can we use it? How can we perform this search? In different research designs, different methodology or methodologies are used. When we have a panoramic understanding which research methodology we are going to use, we are basing our search not on the content, but on different ways of the methodology used. You understand what I want to say? For example, in case of morphologic methods used, hematoxylin staining, or PCR methodology, or different laboratory methodologies which are used. We are studying, for example, the role of PCR in detecting and diagnosing viral infections. This is methodology search. When we say that we are searching the data by methodology used. Okay? And another mode is searching the data by content. So why we are distinguishing? It may happen that in concrete article we shall have novelty and new approaches both in methodology and in content. But we are anyway sorting the data which we have extracted from databases. And to sort the data better, we need to base our search either on methodology or on content of the articles. Okay, so next Saturday we shall speak about systematic literature search. It means identify the best source, primary studies, primary resources, secondary studies. We shall speak about difference. What is the difference between primary and secondary? Reviews and systematic reviews. We shall speak and remember the difference between a review article and overview article. We shall speak about systematic reviews and meta-analysis. So next lecture will also be, I hope, will also be interesting for you. Okay, so you need to read 5.1 for today, and we shall speak about 5.2 next Saturday. Now, just to repeat for students who recently joined us, we have to include chapters 1, 2, 3 for the midterm, which you have on Wednesday. So it will be true and false questions and multiple choice questions, MCQ. No data, no examples, no formulas will be included. Only very key definitions. Okay. So in case, yes, and just to finish with material, we use only textbook, and no PPTs will be added. Okay, because there is no need for me. It always seems a little bit ridiculous to copy paragraphs from textbook into PPT. So the book is uploaded. You have it. Please carefully revise first 3 chapters. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, please turn on your microphone and ask me, or write me in the chat. I'm here for questions. Not to learn the declaration. You know, declarations, conventions, they are just to give you idea of the understanding how theoretical topics are arranged. Okay, so you just need to know that some Oviedo or Helsinki or other sort of declaration exists. Okay, just to have information, just to be educated, but we do not learn them by heart and we do not include them in the midterms. Just read it once when someone will speak about it, just not to be surprised. Okay. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Okay. If we don't have any questions, we will not meet till the next midterm. So I wish you luck with your first midterm. I hope it will be successful. Please remember, if you
Thank you
will,
very much, sir.
thank you. If you will have any questions that will be confusing or less understandable, please highlight them, remember them from your midterm, and we can discuss it here in the class virtually, or you can write to me. What I just want to ask you to fix your attention on difficulties, and I will try to help you solve it. Okay? Thank you for joining,
Okay.
and I hope we shall have another possibility to meet each other next Saturday, and from October or from end of the September to meet each other personally in Bohua campus. Thank you for joining, and all the best. All the best. Wish you peaceful holidays. Bye.
Bye, sir. Bye. Thank you.